Hi, so I hear that there's a travel ban. Is it true?
Yes, ma'am. So last year, the list of countries were released, and then in November, there was after the National Guard shooting, 19 countries were released, and then now additional countries have been added to it.
So when does it go into effect and who does it affect?
Goes into effect January 1st, 2026. Now, it affects a number of countries because there's a partial ban and there's a full ban. However, most of these newly affected countries are clustered in West Africa. There are some other countries, such as Syria, Turkmenistan, and other countries, but most of them are in West Africa. The countries are being projected on your screen right now, so you can look right now to see if your country is part of them.
So are there some exemptions?
Absolutely. So it doesn't apply to number one, those who already have their green card. Number two, those who go for their visas before that date. So if your interview date is on December 31st and you get your visa December 31st, thank God. It also does not apply to people such as diplomats and others who have the US national interest. Also, outlets and other people that have interest in the World Cup. So if you wanted to come for the World Cup and you have a stake in it, you may be fine.
You mentioned earlier there's a partial and a full ban. What is the difference?
So in both cases, granting of immigrant visas, and if you don't know what that is, I've talked about it in my previous video, please go and look at it. But an immigrant visa is a green card. So in both cases, they cannot grant immigrant visas. However, for those under the full ban, they are not able to grant non-immigrant visas. If you don't know what a non-immigrant visa is, go and watch my previous video. But it's visas like BB1, B2, J, and M. For those under the partial ban, they are able to grant non-immigrant visas in some cases. So the difference lies in whether or not they can grant non-immigrant visas. However, none of them can grant immigrant visas at this time.
So what should I do if I have an interview and I'm looking for it to come in here?
So first of all, look on the screen to see if your country is listed. I really hope it is not part of those that's listed. If it's listed though, but for example, it's on an immigrant visa and you fall under one of the exemptions, then you want to do this. Prepare. Because one of the reasons for this travel ban was that the US government said that some of these countries, when their nationals come into the US, they don't go back to their country. So now it's your job to convince the consular officer that you are actually going to return back to your country. The legal term for this is sufficient ties to your home country to prove that when you go, you would actually come back. What are these ties? Things like a bank statement to show that you have a stable income, things like family to show that, okay, you actually have somebody to go back to, right? Things like property, things like business. So to prepare to let them know that I will actually come back. Number two, make sure you clean up your social media because social media is also being vetted. There's heightened scrutiny. Number three, make sure you establish that you will not be a risk to the US safety.
Well, thank you so much. And I know you mentioned your previous video, so will you share a link?
Definitely, it's this down in the bio. Or when you go to YouTube, whether you go to YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, it's all Rehoboth immigration law. And I've explained the difference between immigrant visas and non-immigrant visas. So go look for it and then you understand better.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you.